Hey, what's up guys? So we are back on another video for the Fiesta ST. So plan of action for today will be to remove the old engine, get that connected to the gearbox, and then put the new engine back inside. Hopefully we can get a start without putting on the front crash bar, radiator pack and all of that, just so that we can see all the wires are connected and that fuel is being sent to the engine. Once we know that is all good, then we can start putting everything cosmetically back and then get that car back on the road. But now, before I continue with that update, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the M135. So it has been sent off to the guys to straighten up that front frame. So as soon as that is all done and nice and straight, we will then get the car back, start piecing everything back together, and then get it ready for paint. Now, I know majority of you are wondering, but Brian, I thought you were going to wrap the car. So initially the plan was to wrap the M135, but because we are getting all the parts from the 118M Sport, majority of the front is all white. So when you'd open the bonnet, all that under tray of the white bonnet is all going to be white. The inside of the wings slash fenders is also going to be white, and the inside of the bumper is also going to be white. So I thought, okay, for this build, I think it would just be best to get it all painted, make the car look nice in the one color. I do already like the M135's color, so that's a win. But yeah, we're going to be sending it off to the paint shop, letting the guys give it a nice, proper, fresh, new respray, and then get that car back on the road. And with this Fiesta ST, it has been playing on my mind quite a bit as well, because majority of the mods have been already done to the car. So the intake, the intercooler, the mag, suspension, you name it, it's already been done to it. So to keep the car and to try and make more videos on it is really going to be difficult. So I'm in a bit of two minds. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, if I should keep the car or possibly get another Fiesta that hasn't been done so much to it, and then do all those extra little bits and bobs to the Fiesta so I can show you guys exactly how we do it. But for now, as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
Alright, so straight into the action. Here we are busy loosening up the gearbox mount and the exhaust pipe. So when we do pull the engine out, there will be nothing that is holding it from the back. Next, it's on to the lower control arms. So reason why we are taking this out is to free the disc brakes from the drive shafts. So when we take the engine and gearbox out complete, we don't need to take the complete shock with the calipers and all of that. That can all stay there. It's just the two drive shafts that come out either side. Pull that out with the gearbox and the engine all in one go. Now, with the help of a lot of crowbarring, spray and hammering, we were able to get them both released on either side. So we just had to remove the main wheel nut, and then we were able to start pulling the brake disc from the drive shafts. Now, we did get a bit of an oil leak from one of the drive shafts when pulling it out. This is a common thing that does happen, but it's not a problem. Once we put the gearbox in with the new engine, we will anyway top up the oil for the gearbox. Here we are just having one final look at the new engine that we'll be putting into the Fiesta ST, just to see if there's any plugs or wires that have been cut off or removed in terms of sensors, just so that we could remove that, either get the new ones off the old engine or just remove them off the new engine themselves, just so that when we put everything in with the one complete harness, everything will fit in like a puzzle. Now finally time to get this engine out of the car. So first things first, it is to tie a rope on either side of the engine, just so that we can keep it nice and stable on either side, and then bringing in the engine crane just to slowly start lifting it up. As we get the engine to level where the car is, then we start releasing all the nuts and removing all the bolts for the engine mounts on either side. Once those are loosened up, then we just start the process of moving it side to side, lifting the car up a little bit and slowly pulling the engine out. Now, just as I thought this would have been such a nice and smooth process, I completely forgot to remove that gearbox mount. So here my dad is busy cucking me out because I'd completely forgot to remove two of the screws for the gearbox mount. So this engine was going nowhere, but after a quick little pop under the car, we got those two bolts out and the engine eventually came out in one go. Just as the engine has come out, it is time to quickly have a overall look at it, just to see if there's any wires or plugins that we have missed at the back, and also just having a double check that we do have the right engine, which of course we did. But yeah, just to now start transferring everything from the old engine to the new engine, especially majority of the plugs that sit right at the back of the engine, that is most difficult to get to when the engine is in the car. After transferring all those plugs, wires and piping, it was time to remove this gearbox from the old engine and then fit it onto the new engine. So like I said in the previous video, we will be keeping the same clutch kit on the old engine for the new engine, just because we know that that clutch specifically is in good shape and in good working order. We don't know the state of the clutch on the new engine, so we didn't want to take any chance, rather stick to what you know. So we stuck on the old clutch on the new engine just to make sure that once we ran it up and decided to move the car, everything would be working smoothly. After replacing the clutch onto the new engine, it was time to put the gearbox back. So once we got the gearbox fitted into position, it was a couple of bolts and screws all the way around, got everything nice and tight, and then pop the engine and gearbox back in. Once we got it all lined up with the engine mounts, we could put the brackets on and drill those into place, just so that that could hold the engine itself, and then pop on the gearbox mount, put the two drive shafts back in place, pop those lower suspension arms back into place, and then we should be good to go. Now it's time to start putting everything back together. So starting with the main harness, moving from right to left, just plugging in all the sensors and plugs and wires, everything that needed to be fitted there, and then the main harness comes across all the way down to the crankshaft and then has a couple of sensors there as well. So just making sure everything fits in the right position, as it does follow a route along the engine so that all the wires have the correct length to the sensors. And once we got that right, everything started coming together like a puzzle. So we did find along the way one of the O2 sensors had been damaged, so we were just going to remove it from the old one, plug it onto the new one, and then just make a quick alteration. So while I was busy getting that sorted, my dad continued getting everything plugged in on the right hand side towards the battery and the ECU, and then I was moving along the left, checking all the sensors that were coming from the camshaft all the way down to the crank. Next was onto the battery tray and the ECU brackets. So that was just a couple of 10mm and 8mm bolts to screw in. Everything started fitting together quite nicely, and then pop the ECUs in the sockets on the brackets next to the battery.
So that is all for today's video. If you guys have liked what you've seen, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, share it with anyone you think that will enjoy this part series of rebuilding the Fiesta ST, and I'll catch you guys next week. Take care. So that is all for today. Back with another Fiesta ST.